In today's practice 9.2, we are going to demonstrate understanding of finding a solution to a quadratic equation by factoring. Before we do that, we do have a couple review slides. So it says, what are the solutions to this graph? Now, solutions are another word for x-intercepts. So you want to click and look. So -5 would be 1, and then 8 would be 1. So for right now, if you could just write it as an ordered pair. There you go. You could put 8, 0 or -5, 0 first. It does not matter. For this problem, it says parts of a roller coaster can be represented by parabolas. Use this graph to find the vertex of the parabola. So right there, the highest point is 135.2, and then 1.04. Now, what this means is it took 1.04 seconds for the riders to reach the maximum height, 135.2. So sometimes the vertex is used in this graph or in a roller coaster to figure out the time it takes for thrill seekers to reach the highest point, in this case 135 feet. Now this is just for factoring if you need help with the GCF. The factor sheet in case you need help with the factors. Solve by factoring. So one thing that I changed, instead of f of x, it's now 0 equals. Simplify the equation if there is a GCF of other than 1, and set the equation equal to 0. The reason why we want to set it equal to 0, we want to remember that an x-intercept, y is always 0. All right, looks good. Now a times c, remember a times c is 1 times -35. And we have a positive 2. Now the two factors, if you look on slide number 5, 7 and 5, but we need to make one of those negative because a positive times a negative gets you a negative. Notice that it's a positive 2, so we have to make the smaller number negative. So the whole reason we did that, we have 7x, and then we have -5x. Now I like to copy and paste the equation. First term, first box. Last term, last box. So the greatest common factor of x squared and -5x is just x. It's really a 1x, but we don't need to write that 1. Greatest common factor of 7x and -35 is going to be 7. And then we're going to have an x. And then remember, this sign is negative. And the greatest common factor of 5x and -35 is going to be a -5. So those are our factors. We have the x plus 7 in one binomial. We have the x minus 5 in the other one. So I'm going to copy these into our new part. Remember, we're solving for x. So we want to write the first binomial, we just did. Set the binomial equal to 0. So to undo a positive 7, we minus 7. So then we have x equals -7. And then set this binomial equal to 0. Add 5 on both sides. So now we have our two x-intercepts, or two solutions, however you want to view them. Remember, we do not want to combine these. They are two separate ordered pairs. So the x-intercept is -7 and +5. How we sketch it? We go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's because this was a -7, 0, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because this is 5, 0. We know our parabola is concave up because it's x squared, our a value. And just do the best you can. Just make a U shape. I know the graph is pretty big. But yeah, you want to use that a value. And honestly, for most of our practice, it will be concave up. All right, solve by factoring. 0 equals 8x squared plus 18x plus 9. The GCF of those three terms is 1. So 8 and 9 multiplied together gets you 72. Our B value is 18. So I'm going to go back, look at 72. Which two combinations get me 18? It would be 6 and 12. 6 and 12. Because 6 times 12 is 72. Add them together. We'll add to 18. Now the whole reason we did this was 6x and then 12x. Now from the original problem, original equation, our first term is 8x squared. Our last term is 9. So then we find the GCF. 8x squared and 6x is going to be 2x. GCF of 12x and 9 is going to be 3. This will be 4x. This will be 3 as well. And remember, please double check. 2x times 4x gets me 8x squared. 2x times 3 gets me 6x. 3 times 4x gets me 12x. And 3 times 3 gets me 9. So all of those features work. So then I'm just going to put the two binomials together. All right, good to go. Copy those two binomials and then split it up into two-step equations. Now remember, we have to set them equal to 0. Reason why? X-intercepts always have a y of 0 because you're not going up or down on the axis anywhere. And now it's a friendly two-step. So -3 on both sides. Divide by 2. Now just for coding, I like to keep it as a fraction. I know it's technically -1.5, but it's easier to code fractions. And then we have -3 on both sides. But if you do it on a test, if you make it a decimal, that will be totally acceptable. So that's technically -0.75. But please, for the coding, just keep it as a fraction. All right. So -0.75 would be about right here. It's close to -1. -1.5 would be here. Our A value is positive, so it's concave up. And if you need to, I may make you have to label it on the graph. And if you do, you can make it a decimal to make it easier for you. That's totally fine. All right, GCF of 2x squared plus 3x minus 14. That is still a 1, so we're good there. 2 times negative 14 will get you negative 28. Your b value for here was a positive 3. So I'm going to go back to go to 28. So the only combination that would be close to 3 is 4 and 7. I have to make one of those negative. 4 and 7. All right, since 3 is positive, I have to make the smaller number negative because 7 minus 4 is a positive 3. So the whole point of doing that was to make these x's. Now I'm just going to copy and paste the equation. First term, first box, last term, last box. Now we just do the GCF. GCF of 2x squared and 7x is just x. This is a negative sign, so this will be just negative 2. GCF of 2x squared and negative 4x is 2x. And GCF of 7x and negative 14 is 7. Once again, you can confirm. X times 2x gets me 2x squared. X times 7 is 7x. This gets you negative 4x, and this gets you negative 14. So we know that we did that correctly. Now wrap up the sides in parentheses to create your two binomials. Sorry, that should be a plus 7. Okay. Now I'm going to separate the two binomials because we're solving for x. And x minus 2, guess what? It's going to be a 1-step. We need to see this work, so please draw your wall, do the inverse operation. Undo adding 7 by minusing 7. So this ordered pair is technically negative 7 over 2, comma 0, and this ordered pair is 2, comma 0. So I solved for x for both of these binomials, and that gave us our x-intercepts, or our solutions. So I have a positive 2, and negative 7 over 2 is just a negative 3.5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, plot a point, and then it's concave up because our first term was positive. GCF of x squared plus 5 plus 4, just a 1. 1 times 4 is 4. Our b value is 5. It's going to be 4 times 1. 4 times 1 is 4. Add them together, gets you 5. So that gets us our 4x and our 1x. First term, first box. Last term, last box. So GCF of x squared and 4x is just x. GCF of 1x and 4 is a 1. GCF of x squared and 1x is an x. And then GCF of 4x and 4 is a positive 4. Now once again, it does not matter which binomial you put first, you're going to get the right answer. Now Now, just like in all of the other slides, I like to separate these. I just copy and paste them, make my life easier. You do not need the parentheses. So minus 4 on both sides. So in this case, x equals negative 4. Then we have negative 4 comma 0. And then we have x plus 1 equals 0, minus 1 on both sides. So then our second x-intercept is negative 1. So let's confirm our answer, or answers. We have negative 4, negative 1. So once again, our graph is concave up because our first term was x squared. If you go back to slide 12, x-intercept is negative 4, x-intercept is negative 1. Just draw your best U-shape parabola that you can. That's all I'm asking for. Now for this one, it's slightly different. It's not equal to 0 anymore. So what we have to do here is move that over. So we have to add 2. Notice that there's no like terms. That is okay. We're just going to put it on the end because that's our constant. So then this is our new equation, 3x squared plus 7x plus 2. And now we treat it the same. 3 times 2 is 6. Our b value is 7. Our 2 values are 6 and 1 because 6 times 1 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. So I'm going to copy and paste this so I don't forget. Scroll all the way down. Okay. First term, first box, last term, last box. My 2 terms that I found in the diamond were 6 and 1, so that's 6x and 1x. GCF of 3x squared and 1x is just x. 6x and 2 is just 2. This will get me 3x, and this will get me a positive 1. So I just found my 2 binomials. Let's confirm. All right, fantastic. So what I'm going to do, just like I've done before, I'm going to copy those 2 binomials. And you don't have to copy and paste, you can just flip back and forth. Just separate them. It does not matter which one goes first. So then x plus 2 equals 0, minus 2 on both sides. Now we have 3x plus 1 equals 0, and minus 1 on both sides. Now this is really the reason why I like to keep fractions a fraction, because this is a repeating decimal and it's hard to code. So this would be negative 1 over 3 comma 0. And then this intersection, I forgot to put in a ordered pair. So this function crosses at negative 2 and also crosses at negative 1 over 3. Negative 1 over 3 is 0.333, which is a negative actually. So that's about right here. And then negative 2, once again, it's a concave up because our a was a positive 3. And how you go back to it, right here, our a value is a positive 3. So it's concave up. So that is how you solve by factoring.